It's Tango Day, everybody. Follow after me. And step, and back, and slide, and dip. That's tango.
Why is Ice-T leading our tango class?
It's probably the Honey Nut Cheerios. He found out they can help lower cholesterol. Now he's having fun taking care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
Let's see those hips move, people.
Learn more by picking up a box of Cheerios and check out our Pour Your Heart Into It audio workouts with Ice-T and Buzz to get your heart pumping.
Welcome to the Hypothalamic Amenorrhea podcast. I'm Danny Sheriff, your host, certified fertility awareness practitioner, functional nutrition counselor, and founder of the HA Society, and of course, an HA recovery coach who has walked where you currently are walking. This is the place to come if you care about getting your period regularly. This podcast aims to educate, inform, and keep you motivated on your period and HA recovery track. So let's dive in. But last thing, nothing on the show should be taken as medical advice, so please seek the advice of your physician. So over a year ago, I created something called the 7-Day HA Recovery Commitment Challenge, and I've been running it for over a year. It was this free email-based challenge, so lots of reading, but you would get an email every day for 7 days to help you overcome and tackle the different but important areas that you need to be checking off in order to get your period back. Now, over time, I have collected some really great feedback, and upon working with all of these wonderful, amazing women, really started to learn even more about what works and what doesn't. And so I'm excited to be introducing to you guys the updated version. It's called the 7-Day HA Recovery Kickoff, and it is totally designed to help you not just commit to the process and have all of your ducks in a row in terms of important factors that need to be tackled and issues that need to be overcome in order to get your period, but the whole thing is now based in video. So you can listen/watch, and every day for 7 days, we will tackle nutrition. There's actually 2 days of that because it's so big. We'll tackle lifestyle, we'll tackle exercise, your support network, your mindset game. Each video goes from anywhere between 12 minutes and 5 minutes, so it's not very long, but you'll get all of the most important areas and the best tips and strategies for how to implement them. Because I know that going through recovery is hard. There's always an area for each person that is a little bit difficult to execute on. And so the goal, or maybe a lot difficult. So the goal of this challenge is to help you have the awareness, the self-awareness, and the tools and strategies you need to overcome each of the different issues that AHA recovery faces for us. So get on it. It's great if you're at the very beginning of recovery, or if you're halfway through. I mean, we never know how far through we are until it's over, do we? But no matter where you're at, it can be a really good opportunity to check in and look for blind spots and areas where you might be dropping the ball in your nutrition, in your lifestyle, maybe it's your support network that's a problem. Maybe exercise is something that you are still struggling with making changes to. So check it out. Go to thehasociety.com/7-day-challenge, or the link will be on the website. So it may be in the show notes of this show. It may not be. Just go to thehasociety.com and you'll find it in the footer, or you'll find it in the pop-up that happens when you visit the page. And we will see you for day 1 of the challenge. Gosh, it's so hot today as well.
It's sticky in my house, and I'm like, what's going on?
We have a new air conditioner being installed as we speak. So that thing was like
Dying.
But it was, air conditioners are expensive. It's like buying a small car. So so we cannot wait, because just not ready for summer to be what it is here in Texas. All right, well, girlfriend, Ashley, welcome back to the show.
Hey.
Do another one of these question episodes that are super fun. Guys, if you want a question answered, please. The best way to do that is to be on our email list. So go to thehasociety.com, put your email in anywhere, sign up for our 7-day challenge, sign up for our quiz, something like that. Or just put your name in or join the waitlist for the HA Society, and you'll get emails from me in which you will then have my email address in which you can reply and ask questions. Because I don't have a contact form.
Long way around.
I know I need to get a contact form, but it just keeps going to the bottom of my list. So, okay. I have this email from a listener. Oh my gosh. Oh no, I didn't put her name on it, but I'm going to get started anyway. And she knows who she is because I said I'm going to answer this on the podcast. Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. I love questions. And it's almost kind of like, I don't even know what the question is. So like, you're the only one that actually sees the questions before we record.
I know, but it's been a hot minute since I looked at it. So I have no idea what it is. And I'm going to be refreshing my memory with you as I read it out loud right now. So
all right, go.
I copied and pasted it into this thing. Okay, here we go. Sorry to bother you again. I know you must be super busy and I totally understand if you don't have time to reply to me. Well, friend, this is how it's getting done. I've completed the podcast, aka I've listened to every episode, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for creating it. I learned so much and feel really equipped with the knowledge now about how to approach food, exercise, and lifestyle with my true health in mind. I have also stopped tracking calories and macros as it was starting to just stress me out if I didn't reach my goal, and I feel a lot more free now. Boom. That's great to hear.
We needed that.
I have been having some issues though, and the doctors have been extremely unhelpful. So I was wondering if you would be able to share some of your wisdom. And sorry, guys, you can hear the installation of the air conditioner in the background. Over the past 2 years, I have gradually developed allergies to nuts and seeds. My sister has always had a peanut allergy, and I became allergic to peanuts firstly before all the others followed suit. So I now cannot tolerate any nuts or seeds. Today, I had quite a bad reaction to some roasted soybeans. As a vegetarian, I'm finding it so hard to reach my calorie goals, especially protein, to recover my period. I'm eating a lot of carbs, 300 grams a day roughly, lots of olive oil, avocado, chocolate, dried fruits, eggs, and milk. But now that soy might have to be removed from my diet, I'm running out of ideas of things to eat. My diet is becoming more restrictive and repetitive and boring, as I'm ending up eating beans and eggs every day, which are great but quite filling and not overly high in calories. I tried turning to junk food for a few weeks to help pump up my calories, loads of biscuits and cakes and cookies and flapjacks, but this just zapped my energy, made me feel really horrible and sluggish. I didn't even enjoy the foods as I don't really crave those kinds of things. I was just more focusing on myself to eat them in a desperate attempt to eat more calories. I'm really finding it hard now. I use extra milk in my morning porridge and I put melted chocolate on top. I fry all my vegetables in oil. I put avocado on everything. I have lots of olives, eggs, dates, bananas, and root vegetables. I do love lattes and biscuits most days. I am not seeing any weight gain at all. It's really wearing me down now. So as I want to gain weight so badly, as I'm far too thin and have zero energy right now, I'm not really sure if you will know anything that could help me, but I thought it was worth a try. Thanks for taking the time to read this. It means a lot as I don't know who to turn to at the moment. So that was a long one, Ash, but I picked it because, I think it was interesting. Like, yeah, sounds like she is doing the best that she can, and her body is dealing with a lot. And I don't know, thought it'll be fun.
Yeah. So this is going to be multifaceted. And I'm going to just start from the beginning of, I had the same experience of the amount of stress that I was under, and the stress of being chronically underweight and undernourished takes a toll. So we were actually just talking about how the gut slows down and leads to so many issues. So first off, so like it's a lack of food coming in. The goat motility is slowed down due to like the thyroid being impacted, right? And then you wind up having leaky gut. And then all of a sudden these intolerances that you've never had before, like start flaring up massively. And then the amount of food that you can eat starts getting cut down even worse. So like her, like I was down to like 10 foods that I felt like my body could handle until like it then got cut down to 5 foods, just simply because my body was not being able to digest anything. And then because my food intake was so restrictive, I just didn't have any like gut bugs to digest anything that was coming in. So it's almost like it's like this is a cycle that feeds itself. One thing that I would be interested in asking this listener is, she said that she's like not even craving the foods that she's eating. So I'm very interested in what the foods that she does crave, because I think that's going to be a huge indication of what her body knows is already lacking. So we see this with vegetarians where they're like, it was all great. And like, I'm not saying that she needs to not be a vegetarian. I'm totally not saying that, but there is definitely a path of where vegetarians tend to notice their health declining, and that they are just not feeling good anymore, lack of energy, just the foods, like they're sick of the foods. And it'd be interesting to see what she's craving and if it has anything to do with protein. Because of all the foods that she kind of mentioned, that's the first thing that kind of really stands out that she's lacking.
Yeah, I really just saw like eggs and milk.
And beans, but
Right.
you would have to have beans with rice in order to have the complete protein. So, I mean, that's obviously the biggest thing. And so I would even encourage her to start on plant protein. But whenever our gut is really struggling, digesting plant protein gets really tough as well. Hence why she's kind of seeing the issue with soy. She's seeing the issue with with peanuts. So that would be something that I would be very curious to hear from her is how open are you to adding in any protein sources? Because it seems really, really low.
Yeah. So that's basically, we were just talking about this before the call. Basically, like we need to do an audit. Okay. You know what you have been eating, you know what is physically challenging for you to eat, right? Allergies and such. What else is missing, and what are you
avoiding? Yeah, what are you avoiding? And so yeah, like we were talking about this.
Well, she had mentioned, right, like, well, I went and ate a bunch of junk, but I don't want to do that anymore either. So it's like one side of the spectrum to the other side of the spectrum, but like where's the middle ground?
Totally. And so I mean, I like believe that like she probably doesn't feel that great, because I mean, I would say I have a great relationship with food, but even when I eat too much junk back to back, like I don't feel great. And I did that in my recovery. I was like, sweet, I'm just going to eat this entire loaf of zucchini bread because like I just need calories. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't feel my best. Now, if I just would have had some protein with it, probably would have gone a little bit better.
Yeah. I think we're under no illusions. I mean, that's not true. People are under an illusion, but we shouldn't be under any illusions that like eating a ton of sugar is good for you in any way. And that like, and that's a message that has been false, because that's not a message that's been false. It's just a message that we've like become very afraid of. But right, if you're having some kind of immune or allergenic response to something as well, a high amount of processed sugar is actually not going to help you with that. Yeah. And so that's why I feel like this middle ground, this balance is super important.
Well, it's not a secret that balanced blood sugar levels lead to happy hormones, right? And so it's really hard to get that whenever we're avoiding an entire macronutrient, kind of like protein, or if we're avoiding if we're like, we never have treats, right? Well, not saying that that's a macro, but it's going to supply you with calories. It's going to supply you with a mixture of probably carbs and fat, which is something that you're probably avoiding, right? So like people don't really have problems with treats. People have either problems with like carbs or fat, or because it's mixed together, it's like horrible, right? So yeah, I think it's more of the audit of what are you currently avoiding And could that be the key to your healing?
The HA Society is taking clients. Coach Ashley and I work one-on-one with HAers, as we call you, to help you figure out a plan and, of course, implement it and stay accountable. Whether you've worked with a health practitioner already and you just want to stay accountable and strategic with the plan that they've laid out for you, or you want to start from scratch looking at all the aspects of your recovery needs and to create a game plan to reach those needs, then we are definitely your girls. When you sign up to work one-on-one with one of us, we're going to go over your history, your biggest obstacles, ensure that we're taking into account your specific goals, and start making a plan to reach them. So those goals could be getting your period back, could be getting pregnant, could be getting back to exercise or sport, or simply working on your mindset around your body image and long-term recovery. We also can teach you the fertility awareness method. So if you want to learn that so that you have the skills you need to go out into the world on your own without fear of getting HA again, we have got your back. So our coaching packages are either weekly or bi-weekly and only a month at a time commitment. So you're not paying tons and tons of money for 5-6 months. It's month to month, which is awesome. Makes perfect sense for period recovery, right? So to learn about other women's experiences working with us and to apply for a coaching spot, plus ask any questions that you might have before getting started, just go to thehasociety.com/coaching.
So like some of my clients, like they will, like they will come from a history of like, well, I don't eat bread twice a day. I'm not saying that bread's going to bring your period back, but you're not stressing about food around bread and you getting the extra calories and the extra carbs, because we do need carbs to have a strong LH pulse. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be the key to your healing. So for her, it's going to be different. Like, what are you avoiding? And it sounds like animal proteins, which means that there's probably like a mineral imbalance, vitamin imbalance. Like we already know that that's likely occurring. So
I think with vegetarianism, it's so important for us to remember we always want to be sensitive to people's choices and why 100%. And we also need to remember that like your biology doesn't care about your dietary preferences and moral stand, like, you know what I mean? So we're going to do everything we can. We're going to try everything that we can, but there's no like conversation in your brain about like, oh, well, but we don't believe in eating meat. And so we'll figure this out a different way. Like that conversation's not happening with your brain and your reproductive system. So you kind of you also have to remember that like, if you're going to put these rules or these lines in the sand around your eating, you need to be potentially open to the idea that you can't, that you may not get a, optimal menstrual cycle. So I just want to put that out there, right? That like when it comes to our menstrual cycle goals, if it is your number one priority, you have to be willing to turn over every stone. Now, if
objectively,
yes, if and if you want to come to a place where you say, no, like, I don't want to eat meat and this is my top priority, then it's like, okay, well, let's be open to our recovery process looking different, taking longer. Maybe we have to try 58,000 more things than the next girl might have to try. Like, and this is going to have to be okay. And if if you are dealing with allergies or immune issues or anything like that, at the same time as having these rules, around your eating, you just have to you have to acknowledge that is the situation.
Yeah, you make a really good point of right now, we're not kind of just up against not eating animal proteins. Although she said that she eats eggs. So I would be open to see.
Yeah, she eats some, it seems. Like maybe pescatarian.
I hope that she's just slamming some fatty salmon. That's really
like what,
like oysters, you know what I mean? Like I would really highly recommend that she make oysters and salmon a top priority, like, you know what I mean? Like, because like she's eating eggs. So I think it'd be safe to make that recommendation. That right there would be probably the first step that I would recommend, but you're 100% right. Right now, all the other protein alternatives are not sitting well with her. You know what I mean? So you like, we can't keep pushing that, and we need to listen to your body, and it's saying like, this isn't working. Like I see this a lot with people who have autoimmune symptoms. They wind up getting into eating all these alternative foods and then having even massive digestive issues on top of the autoimmune symptoms that they were already having from high stress and a lack of periods. So I was listening to this one podcast, and it was talking about how unresolved stress starts in our gut, and then it manifests as an autoimmune like skin issue and all these different types of things. And so it was really like reassuring that like, this is a thing. Like this is a thing.
I like to remind people of this all the time, because I think some of us think, oh, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, oh, my unresolved trauma or my emotional stress is like not causing this. I mean, at least I'm guilty of that thought. But then when I think about like our dogs, actually, right? Like if we separate from them, or if something happens that they don't like, what happens?
Stress, crying,
throwing up and shitting everywhere happens. And we know it's not something they ate. We know it's because they're really upset. Like we see it in animals. We see it in animals across the board. But like, why do we not see it in ourselves?
We refuse to see it in ourselves. You are on fire today. First off, you are on fire today. Like, this has been good. Yes. Your like analogies are on point today. But yeah, you're so right that like our body is always going to tell on us.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a huge sign, the amount of stress that this person's digestive system is under, if it's now starting to show symptoms of food intolerances and food allergies, like that's when you know that you've hit next level stress. But ironically, that's when people are in the most denial of it. I was, right? People are like, no, because like we mentally build up this like immunity while our body is like back there being like, absolutely not. Like,
yes, it is funny how we can be on a different page with our brain is on a different page to our body, and like, is that a part of the answer for this person, right? Do you need to check in with like, well, what are you actually craving? What is behind the dietary decisions you're making? What do you need based on your symptoms, including your HA symptoms? And like, let's start from there.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't even know that that's where I was going to land, but that's why I asked, like, what is she craving? Because that's one way to start saying, okay, mind, you're going to take a back seat, and I'm going to listen to my body. And what does my body say it needs right now? Because I've been forcing all these decisions, and it's led to not having a cycle. And now I'm having even less foods to eat because of the stress. Yeah, it'd be really interested. So I hope she follows up. Please email us back. We have to know. Do not leave us hanging about this.
Yeah, I feel so bad that I didn't put her name on. Email back. It was me. And yeah, update us or give more context if you want to, and we'll keep talking about it. But yeah, like I think the takeaway in general for this has been hammered home quite well.
Yeah. I mean, and like, I don't want to disregard supplementing, but at this point, like, I don't think, yes, you should supplement, but some of the supplements that we would recommend is beef liver. I mean, I don't know if they have oyster supplements. Maybe they do. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Like,
somewhere down the line. But
like you can get like deer, what is it? Reindeer stuff. Like you can get everything.
So because she's not eating meat, you know what I mean? It's going to be one of those things of even if she was to supplement to the best of her ability, there's still so much missing that I don't think that a supplement is going to be able to like cure this. Does that make sense? Because right now it's starting to like degrade to the point where now like the foods that she can eat is not being tolerated. So we already know that we're like in this second or third stage of like decline. So like, it's almost like she's going to be getting to a point where she's going to be forced to make a decision somewhere because the path that she's on is not sustainable. Because
it sounds like she's there because she's saying, I'm frustrated. I'm like at my wit's end. If you find yourself saying these things to yourself, that's a sign that like you've reached the line in the sand that you're not willing to cross, or you think you're not willing to cross yet recovery. It means that you went into this saying, okay, I'm going to try this, and here's the boundary in which I'm willing to get to, and once I get there, that's it. I don't know what to do. It didn't work for me, and so it's time to check like what is actually that boundary. Yeah. Oh yeah. I hope that helps, guys. Thank you very much. This has been a short episode because Ashley and I were talking about other things before we started recording. We're talking about doing a program, creating an 8-week program. So maybe you'll hear about that from us soon. And we hope that you guys enjoyed this. Come find us at Ashley_Marie_Smith_ and at Danny Sheriff or at the HA podcast, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
All right, bye.
Thank you so much for listening today, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast, and if you could head to iTunes specifically and leave a rating or review, that would help so much because it makes it easier for other people with HA who are Googling around to find the podcast really easily. So if you do that, you're doing a service to all of the women.
Are you dreaming of more freedom, more dough to thrive, and financial options to keep your dreams alive? If you can dream it, then Bread provides, yeah. More than a bank, we're here for you all the way. With Bread, your best life starts today. Yeah, your money doing so much more. Bread is just the thing that you're looking for. Cause Bread loves everyone, and it's the type of journey that should be fun. The life you always wanted, time to make it true, cause you deserve it, and Bread is the one for you.
For additional information, please visit breadfinancial.com.
It's Tango Day, everybody. Follow after me and step and bet and slide and dip. That's tango.
Why is iced tea leading our tango class?
It's probably the Honey Nut Cheerios. He found out they can help lower cholesterol. Now he's having fun taking care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
Let's see those hips move, people.
Learn more by picking up a box of Cheerios and check out our Pour Your Heart Into It audio workouts with Ice-T and Buzz to get your heart pumping.